Yeah, no, I would appreciate that, because believe it or not, this summer with the company called Perform Better, I'm doing a pre-conference symposium, and one of the things I'm attacking is what is our definition of functional exercise, and I'm actually going to turn on the cameras and videotape that at the end of this summer in Long Beach. So we'll actually have a sort of a documentary on exploring this function, and I think it's a hard thing to define. I can fill up a room with 150 exercise professionals and medical or rehabilitation professionals and ask for a definition of function, and I can't get a consistent statement which tells me that we got a little problem here.
Yeah.
And if we were basically sitting on the steps of the gymnasium in the afternoon in ancient Greece, and the philosophers were to show up and say, listen, if you're having a problem defining a term, let's go in a 180-degree different direction and see if you can define its opposite. So let's define dysfunction first. And if I had to define dysfunction for you and your listeners right now, it would be a state of movement that puts you at risk for injury and or reduces your natural ability to adapt to new environments.
Yeah.
And if you move so poorly that you're at risk for injury, even under the supervision of an exercise professional, or you move so poorly that you can't learn a new maneuver in a reasonable amount of time, then I'm not saying you have a medical problem, but I'm saying you're stuck in a state of dysfunction. So that means even if you purchase P90X, or even if you buy a treadmill or a Nordic track, or even if you join a yoga class, you're not going to have the same benefits as the other participants, and or you may actually get injured in the process. And it ain't the fault of the instructor or the product. You weren't ready for what you put your body through. So I think if we can define dysfunction, then we would consider function the absence of that. Now we've got to talk about functional exercise. I think functional exercise are those exercises that have a huge carryover effect. If you told me you did this one exercise, you felt that your posture during the workday was better, that you increased your hiking capacity with a backpack by 30%, you enjoyed your runs more, and you also felt that you were a little bit crisper on your tennis serve, then I would say that the exercise, whatever it was, had quite a bit of carryover. Not only did it benefit you in the individual session of energy expenditure, but it also had a significant amount of carryover value into the other movement activities that you did. Compare that mysterious exercise with a bench press. You can do a lot of bench press, and the one thing that I can guarantee will happen is your bench press will get better. I don't know if you'll be able to wash your back or serve a tennis ball harder or paddle your kayak any faster, but I do know if you focus on it, your bench press will consistently get better. So many exercises don't have tangible benefit outside of their own individual slice of movement. And then some actually do. So, I think when we see more holistic approaches of exercise that involve triplanar movement, they're functional. The criticism of functional exercise is, does it get you stronger? Functional exercise keeps you moving. Bending over and picking up something really, really heavy gets you stronger. And what you've got to do is choose your goals. If you really need to get stronger, I would say you've got to do moves that have been proven to get you stronger, but make sure the strength doesn't ask you to give up flexibility in the process. Or your pursuit of flexibility doesn't undermine your strength in the process. I think functional exercise helps you slowly gain your mobility without giving up your coordination or strength. And it helps you gain coordination and strength without having to give up your flexibility in the process. So I'm not trying to be loose with the definition, but one of the things I did in my new book titled Movement is in the middle of the book, I listed some self-limiting exercises. And the definition of a self-limiting exercise is an exercise that demands that your integrity and your technical precision be at a certain level.
Yeah.
Let's take barefoot running, for instance. A lot of people got on this barefoot running or minimalist shoe running kick, and they went out and did a 5K their first day without shoes.
Yeah.
Well, the gradient was too hot. It doesn't mean barefoot running doesn't have a very good place in the running community. It means that you overdosed the situation.
Yeah.
Barefoot running is self-limiting because you are not protected from your mistakes. If you make a mistake barefoot running, if you heel strike, you immediately have discomfort, and you quickly adjust the activity so that you don't have discomfort. That adjustment may mean you shorten your stride and you slow down your cadence, or you sped up your cadence.
Yeah.
In doing that, barefoot running became comfortable, but now you're like, I'm way off my time. Well, actually, you're not. That's as fast as you can run barefoot with integrity. Yeah. If you take a kettlebell and invert it so it's bottom up and use your grip strength to press it overhead, now your shoulder press is not limited by the strength of your shoulder. It's limited by your grip strength, your alignment, your connection, and your posture, because you've got to balance that kettlebell, not just lug it up over your head. So what I did is I created a list of self-limiting exercises that won't let you participate in a volume that will undermine or actually injure you, because it's dependent not on your weight or your physical capacity or your endurance. It's limited by your technical precision. Now, our grandfathers, every exercise they did was self-limiting because we hadn't invented the big cushy heel running shoes, and we didn't have exercise machines for them. If they wanted to pick something up, they had to use good body mechanics. And if they wanted to take a run, they couldn't have sloppy form and lean on the cushioning of the shoe. They had to use their inherent structure and function to overcome the obstacle. So, our grandfathers participated in self-limiting and, by default, functional exercise without knowing it. Since we've created so much supplementation with seated fixed-axis exercise devices, isolated training, and even shoes or footwear that allow you to run far farther than your integrity will carry you, we've created a whole new category of medical problems that are self-induced.